President Donald Trump plans to meet Tuesday with Senate Republicans in a crucial week for his presidency and his tax plan that could decide whether he ends his first year with a major legislative achievement. Last-minute threats to the tax cuts that Trump has promised since early in his long-shot presidential campaign are looming among Senate Republicans. Concerns center on the taxation of partnerships, limited liabilities, and other companies, on the overall cost of the tax bill itself, and on a familiar GOP stumbling block, Obamacare. It's not going to be easy, Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch of Utah said Monday. This is going to be a tough time. Senate Republican leaders aren't counting on any Democrats for a floor vote that could come Thursday or Friday, but that means they can afford to lose only 2 members of their own party. Here are the 8 GOP senators most likely to decide the tax bill's fate: Bob Corker, Jeff Flake, and James Lankford. Corker, the retiring Tennessee Republican, has staked a hard line against letting tax legislation add to federal deficits, saying that a single penny of new deficits would lose his vote. It turns out the Senate bill would add $1.4 trillion to the deficit over 10 years at least before accounting for any economic growth, according to a Congressional Budget Office report released Sunday. Here's one way to tell whether a tax code rewrite is headed in the right direction: corporate lobbyists should be whining that their private brakes are getting squeezed too hard, and economists should be cheering because the trashing of those preferences is paying for lower overall rates that could. Here's one way to tell whether a tax code rewrite is headed in the right direction: corporate lobbyists should be whining that their private brakes are getting squeezed too hard, and economists should be cheering because the trashing of those preferences is paying for lower overall rates that could. The bill's supporters say it'll boost economic growth enough to cover that shortfall, but Corker says he's not satisfied. He wants a backstop mechanism, essentially a tax increase trigger that would raise revenue in case the promised growth doesn't result. Arizona's Flake and Oklahoma's Lankford also support that kind of trigger. Every economist is guessing, Lankford said on Monday. We should build in the what if this doesn't work? If the revenue is not coming in, should the rates change? Corker is a member of the Senate Budget Committee, which meets Tuesday afternoon to decide whether to send the tax bill to the Senate floor. Republicans have a 1-vote margin on the panel and cannot afford any defections. Corker said Monday he may vote no if tax writers, who he said would be working overnight on a provision, can't provide enough deficit safeguards. We're working very closely with the administration and also some members of the Finance Committee to design a trigger or backstop that in the event the revenues are not there, there's a way to recoup them, he said. President Donald Trump has defended the Republican effort to overhaul taxes by calling it a bitter pill for the rich, saying its provisions will boost the middle class and make him a big loser if it's approved.